Crow and Wolf Studios presents Rook and Crow. Episode 2, The Box and the Hound, Part 1.
Hail and well met, my brave and beautiful fellow listeners. This is your very own genteel and generous Purveyor. All's well here at the Dovecote, and I hope this evening's battles ring with resounding victory for you. For tonight's broadcast, I've got a presentation here handed to me directly from the one and only. Now, they impressed upon me the importance of this and future accounts from a one Agent Rook, and I took that to heart. But before I begin the playback, I, of course, have news, advisories, and condolences. To those of you awaiting reports concerning the autumn court transfer, please remain vigilant and keep an eye on the poplar leaves. For those in our ranks walking the sodden path, aeromancers on the western coast warn of rainstorms coming in off the ocean, so be wary. Finally, and with a heavy heart, I send my dearest regards to the families of Agents Sept, Harvest, and Bowen. You have our love. Poor payment for loss as it is. Now, to tonight's main event. Per the instructions of the one and only, I urge an, quote, especial caution this evening to our audience. Agents Rook and Crow issue many of our traditions in this organization. While the agents' demeanors may seem flippant, crass, or frankly immature, I can assure you folks they are very well aware of the gravity of our plight. Bear this and their uniquely charming dispositions in mind throughout this account.
I think that sound means that it's recording. Well, let's hope that's the case. Hello, listener. This is Agent Rook. I am recording this in response to your last letter and will, of course, abide by your request to use our code names for the time being. That said, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to, well, listen. I can count on one hand the number of my peers willing to do even that for me. Speaking of listening, I sat down to read the note you left in the package you sent me, but, there was a bit of a mishap involving some spilled tea, so I wasn't able to read the somewhat lengthy explanation of the contents. From what I was able to decipher from the smudged ink, I deduced that it must be some sort of recording stone, but I truly am intrigued by this strange artifact. What did you say it was again? You mentioned it could hear things. Let's see, no visible runic lettering. None invisible either. Not even a maker's mark. Whence are you, little fella?
You may call this unit RIDDLE, Agent Rook.
Nimbus bloody grace!
Ow.
A Leofoil? You actually sent me a bloody Leofoil? Where did you even get your head? You know what? Never mind. I won't look too hard at this horse's mouth.
Was this unit not enclosed with a note, Agent Rook?
Agent Rook, grave import special artifact. This stone can hear your speech. Can you, I don't know, erase parts, specifically the last, say, minute and a half?
Once inscribed, speech is undelible, Agent Rook. The note should describe further capabilities.
Of bloody course it is. And please just call me Edmund, especially if there's going to be another agent here shortly. Wait, I've had you for 2 bloody weeks, and you've waited until just now to start talking. Where was this 2 weeks ago when I was trying to prove cryptids exist? I could have recorded it so Quinn wouldn't be such a pain in the arse anymore.
You've been in possession of this unit for 2 weeks, but failed to read the note included in the box. This unit is under no obligation to speak unless directly addressed. The ball is in your court, Agent Rook.
You little... No, I refuse to lose an argument to a rock. It's beneath me. You may have won this round, Riddle, but this is not over.
This unit will remember that.
Damn right you will. Now, where was I? Oh, listener, I should probably mention that I am currently waiting for the one you called Crow. I thought they would have arrived by now, but then again, I don't even know who they are. We've not seen each other face to face, and our correspondences are done via the method you described to me. Part of me hopes that it's Lester Greenwood, as he's the only other student I can actually tolerate at this damned academy. But I suppose that's just wishful thinking, especially since I know he couldn't keep something like that from me. Since they seem to be running late, I suppose that I might as well start things off myself. Now, back to what you asked about my experience. I suppose my last letter wasn't as forthcoming with information, so I'll provide you with the details of my investigation. In the last 3 months, 4 students have gone missing. I mentioned as much in my last letter, unrelated to the canal case, mind you. What I did not mention is that from my reconnaissance on Detective Lucero, I learned that current evidence suggests that none of them ever left campus. Summer Court Authority is offering zero explanation beyond truancy, and security on campus outside of the detective is an utter joke. I know the tenets, and I understand what I will relay to you is technically well beyond the scope of my responsibility, but I know I can help. What's been happening, it can be explained, but not traditionally. I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Harper J. Rook.
Sorry, I'm late. You!
Quinn? What the bloody hell are you doing in the utility closet?
I could ask you the same question, Edmund.
I'm waiting for someone. It's none of your business.
Well, so am I. One of us has got to go, and it's not going to be me. I didn't skip my runes class to hide in a damn closet with your snobby ass.
Well, I certainly hope not, because... No. Wait a bloody minute. Crow?
You've got to be joking.
No, you're Crow? Please tell me you're lying.
Ah. Agent Rook. I should have known.
This day just keeps getting better.
You make me sick.
Good. You deserve it.
Thought it was odd that we were meeting in an old utility closet. I should have guessed that only someone as particular as you would have such an atrocious meeting place in mind.
I have my reasons.
Yes, and I have limited time and patience.
Well, for your information, Miss Impatient, among the 16 utility closets around campus, 10 are frequently used, 2 are infrequently used, and the remaining 4 are, to my knowledge, completely disused. These 4 were being used to store old junk, but now either nobody wants to clean them out and use them for something else, or they've just totally forgotten about them, so they might as well be just another part of the wall. As it happens, this particular closet is completely soundproof.
Why would a closet have soundproofing?
Why does that... So, when 2 people love each other very much...
Yeah, I got it. Some students who wanted some privacy put some runes onto the walls or something. I'm not literally a child.
Oh, yes, 17 is practically ancient.
Old enough to be in the same programs you're in, smartass. So, what? Is this what you've designated as an official secret meeting place or something?
Didn't you see the sign? Now, I was told that you've been doing some sleuthing. I want to know what that entailed, and the listener wants to have it recorded. Believe it or not, a soundproofed utility closet is just the place to do that.
And what makes you think I would tell you a damn thing?
Said you would.
Fine. Do you have something to record this?
I do, actually. It's right here.
That was a serious question.
And that was a serious answer.
That's not a recording stone, Edmund. That's just a rock.
He's not just a rock. He's a Leofoil. His name is Riddle, and he's been recording every word you've said from the moment you walked into the room.
A Leofoil? So I'm supposed to believe that some idiot gave you one of the rarest and most valuable magical devices of the last 5 centuries. Are you insane?
Agent Rook's mental state was appraised prior to this unit's assignment and determined to be sufficient.
Sufficient?
Merlin's breeches!
Calm down, Agent Crow. Goodness, it's really not as outlandish as you're making it out to be. If it's any consolation, the only one who's going to hear any of this is the listener. Bloody sufficient?
Would you like this unit to make a reprisal?
Later, when I'm not actively being driven mad.
Nobody else is going to hear this, you say. Then I have some choice words for the listener.
This unit is prepared to record Agent Crow.
You said this room was soundproofed. Are you completely certain?
See for yourself. The runes aren't exactly hidden very well.
Oh, sweet Merlin, you aren't kidding. Did they even try? That's not even... I mean, I guess it works, but that's the worst gotic scripting I've seen in my entire life.
To be fair, they did carve it into the wall. If they wanted it pretty but fleeting, they could have painted it for your delicate sensibilities. But they had some care for posterity. Besides, you couldn't even see it until I pointed it out. I'd say they at least get passing marks, and I've already confirmed that they work.
That must be the case. Otherwise, I'd have heard your pomposity echoing all the way down in the lower 3. Good, then. Now I know I can be very direct with the listener. This could also apply to you as well, Edmund.
Lovely.
All right, you little motherfucker. I have had it up to here with your bull. You said your contact was super intelligent, not...
Whoa there, folks. Can't play that on the air. At least not till the late show. We will be right back.
That's just unnecessary.
Can it, Four Eyes? I'm talking to your stupid rock, or apparently, the listener. What's that even supposed to mean? What are you listening to? I almost died, and you're off who knows where, writing to your nerdy little pen pal. If you honestly think that I'm going to tell this pathetic of an elf then you're just as stupid as your silly little code name. Why don't you come to the university and actually do something useful for once?
All right. Satisfied?
Oh no, I'm not even close to being done, Agent Rook. Did you seriously base your code name off that stupid fake monster?
That's the line. Now shut up! That's better. Now, if you would be so kind as to take a few steps back, you're invading my personal bubble. Thank you. Now, I don't know how you know, but I get the idea from your little outburst that you're somewhat close. By blood, though, not choice. Can't imagine why else you'd be acquainted. Right. As that is the case, I'm going to set aside your vulgar and rather childish insults and move this along. As much as I despise you for your mere presence alone, we have something in common. The listener told me that you saw something important. Good. I'm so glad we sorted that out. I've neither the time nor the energy to explain how I know the listener, but I suggest that you get used to calling them that. So how about we just set aside our grievances for the time being, since I know just as bloody little as you do, much as it pains me to admit. Unfortunately for both of us, we each have gaps in our knowledge the other can fill. Since the listener wants to know about our collective discoveries, Riddle here will be our little helper on that front. Splendid. Speak freely.
You're insufferable, you know that. And don't think I'll forget or forgive that ridiculous little muting hex. All right, so how exactly are we going to do this?
Well, giving a detailed description of an event is virtually impossible to accomplish without omitting important facts. Our memories don't often cooperate with us, and it's not uncommon for bias to play a part in excluding information, as well as over-dramatizing events that were actually quite mundane.
How is that supposed to answer my question?
I wasn't finished. You see, RIDDLE can do more than simply record audio. They can replay audio forwards and backwards, detect voices up to 60 feet away, and even can function as an alarm clock.
Do they also make you blovate for hours on end? Get to the point.
But recording stones were modelled after a much stranger device, a leofoil. RIDDLE is a leofoil, and leofoils have a unique ability that artificers have yet to properly replicate in recording stones: memory projection. A regular recording stone would have sufficed for such a purpose, but RIDDLE should be much more reliable.
And how is projecting our memories going to help the listener who can't see what we see?
We'll have to dictate it. Trying to recall events accurately is like trying to use glasses with dirty lenses, or lenses that are tinted a rosy pink. It's hard to describe something if your vision is distorted. So RIDDLE can bypass the fog and bias and extract the exact memory directly from the storage in our brains and play it back for our viewing pleasure. Only audio and visuals can be taken safely without destroying the memory entirely. However, due to the complexities of such magic, RIDDLE can't store the memory once it's ended. It's not removing it from the mind, it's simply connecting to the source and displaying the stored information. A memory can only be played once, you can't freeze it or play it back. Interfering with the same memory more than once increases the risk of losing it forever. So once RIDDLE starts the memory, it will go until it ends, and that's it. If that wasn't how it worked, I would have sent the memory I'll be showing you to the listener already.
Thanks for the lesson, Professor. I'll be sure to ask for the notes after class.
How studious. Do I need to explain it again so your underdeveloped mind can understand?
Oh, please. Do read me the letter off the floor again. I understand it fine. We're going to watch our respective memories and describe everything for because it can only be used once. Has my underdeveloped mind grasped it?
Like a sticky juice cup. Again, we can't freeze it or go back, no matter how badly we want to. And I told you to call them the listener. I'm serious about that, and so are they.
Oh, whatever. Can we just get on with it already?
Fine, have it your way. RIDDLE, command, show memory from 10 days ago, 11:45 p.m, stop on command.
Projecting memory.
Bloody hell.
As I was saying earlier, before I was so rudely interrupted, I was going to campus to do some nighttime investigating.
For what? Closet hunting?
None of your bloody business. Now shut up, I'm describing this for the listener. Anyway, I decided to wait until well after they lock up for the night. Detective Lucero instituted the curfew after that sophomore Felix went missing. I figured that nobody would be around close to midnight, but as luck would have it, the moment I arrived on campus, I spotted a cloaked figure who seemed to be in a hurry, as they quickly traced a rune onto the door to unlock it. When they finally got the door unlocked, they quickly slipped inside, looking around furtively. I doubt the figure would have even thought to look in my direction. Nobody would even dream of cutting through that section of Witherwood Hollow.
You seriously walked through the hollow? I thought you'd for sure believe the rumours, cryptid boy.
In any case, I was still just beyond the tree line within the haze of green mist, so I assumed that the figure was simply running late for some dark ritual and was feeling skittish. Probably affiliated with the Iron Circle.
I'm sure their aura gave you that impression.
Regardless, I suspected that they might lead me to something that could give some clues about what happened to the 4 missing students. So I thought I'd follow this shady individual and see where they got off to. I was certain that by the time I reached the door myself, they would have already turned a corner and be long gone. So I cast a minor tracking spell. It allows me to see the footprints of anyone who passed through an area within the last 30 minutes. Not particularly useful for finding someone in a crowd, but effective in areas less travelled. The spell only lasts about 8 minutes or so, and the visible radius is about 10 feet in diameter, with me at the epicenter. I could only see about 5 steps at a time on average, but even that felt somewhat risky. It would have been rather awkward if my quarry turned around to see their own footprints glowing like they'd walked through a puddle of glow slime goo. Illuminate footprints.
8 minutes? Is that the best you can do? And your hand position. You look like you're doing your best mobster impression.
But my assumption about them turning corners was correct. their footprints revealed that they'd immediately gone down the nearest staircase to the lower levels, where they've been renovating the classrooms to amend some recent magical mishaps that resulted in severe property damage. They'd apparently been taking 2 or 3 steps at a time, so they must have been in a hell of a hurry. Now, it's my opinion that at Esus University of Arcana and Magic, there are a few things as off-putting as the lower levels. You've been to the university, so I'm sure you recall that dank dungeon on lower 2.
Cauldron Corridor, you mean?
Not if Dr. Lagarde has any say in the matter. It used to be called Cauldron Corridor, until one of the classrooms was supposedly ground zero for the absolute disaster that made the renovations of the entire underground necessary. So, strangely enough, the tracks led further into Cauldron Corridor, or, pardon me, lower 2. I would have assumed a cultist regime would prefer something further down, closer to their hometown in Hell. Speaking of Hell, I never liked the lower levels before renovations, and I like them even less now, especially after Dr. Lagarde decided students ought to be professional and refrain from childish nicknaming, which, for some reason, meant stripping the walls and ceilings bare.
Without the decor, it does look much creepier.
The patinated chandeliers have been taken down and left in the hallways, like a shadowy obstacle course made of brass and candle wax. The only light I had to go by were the glowing footprints of that stranger. Obviously, it would have been foolish to announce my presence by casting an evocation of illumination or using rune light.
So, how are you even seeing this much?
My eyesight is still quite functional in the dark, though I pity anyone walking through that pitch blackness. As I carefully made my way past the eerie, crown-like rings of rust and broken chains, nearly falling on my arse after accidentally stepping on a bafflingly sturdy candle, I followed those footprints to the classroom at the end of the hallway, on the left side. The door was ajar, so the fleet-footed stranger was most definitely still in a rush to get somewhere. Could have bloody well put a gymnast to shame getting through that blasted hallway. Rusting metal and indestructible candles were the only death traps hiding in that musty corridor, but with grace and aplomb, I persevered. God damn it! Will you shut up already? We can only watch this once, you know. I'll zip your lips again if you don't keep quiet.
Alright. Not my fault you've got 2 left feet.
Fortunately, I arrived just in time to hear the grating sound of stone against stone. Either someone was using the lab's giant pestle, or there was something unusual afoot. I peered through the crack in the open doorway to see, well, the wall was glowing. It sounds rather cliché, if I'm honest, but I believe I was looking at the outline of a secret door. But I felt an overwhelmingly sinister feeling as that light went out, though I'm not sure how to describe it. Of course, I'm not one to be cowed by such things, so I followed the footprints to find that they did indeed lead to the unnerving secret door and to whatever lies beyond. Having been held up by the maze laid for me in the hallway, I knew my quarry was lost. I did, however, do some looking around in the cluttered classroom, but I got the strangest feeling that I was being watched.
Oh, was that just a hunch?
You could say that. So, I was being watched. I didn't know what it was. I kept seeing something in the corner of my vision. Right before I could get a glimpse of it, it was as if I'd just missed it. It was quick. But listen, do you hear that?
It sounds like
Voices. Hundreds of them. Whispering. I tried to figure out what they were saying as I was looking everywhere to spot the thing. But they weren't saying anything even remotely coherent, just gibberish. But if you listen closely, that growl is hiding beneath the voices like a shroud.
I can't see a bloody thing on the projection. Did you close your eyes?
No, but I felt as if I was being consumed by something primal. And the voices only got louder as the room got darker. A kind of darkness that you can feel, Cold ink that sinks deep into your bone marrow.
Yes.
But then, phosphorus! I reintroduced the light.
What the bloody hell is that?
A guard dog, I think.
That's not a dog, Edmund. That's a bloody monster.
Yes, a monster. The Hound, I suppose I'll call it, is built like a setter, but twice the size. It was standing just at the edge of my light, about 12 feet away, glaring at me with deep, unblinking indigo eyes that seemed like yawning voids. Instead of fur, it was as if it was wearing darkness itself to cover its jagged, empty form. And it looked like the very essence of darkness was dripping from it like molasses, and spikes jutted out from it at odd angles, as if it was made from shattered bones that had been poorly put back together. The viscous yet misty darkness almost looked like it was a living substance of its own, as it coalesced and shifted around the creature. Tendrils of it began encompassing my little dome of light as well. As I stood there, trying to make sense of this monstrosity, it only seemed to stare back at me, stumbling and snarling like a rabid animal. What are you?
You spoke to it.
Shh! It stepped out of the light, but I could tell from its eyes it was still facing me. Those peerless eyes gave me a curious look. The darkness encircling my little haven of light creeped back to the mangled mutt, enveloping it in pure shadow that solidified into Stygian sinews.
Where am I?
What?
I'm lost. I haven't seen anybody in so long. Please, can you stay with me? Stay.
Lost? Ah, I see. You're like the marsh whispers. Not to worry, I know the way.
Hello? Can you hear me? Stupid, stupid, stupid. Nobody else here. Only blank spots watching.
This isn't how it goes. I know the way home.
It's no use. This was bound to happen. Everyone gives up. This is how it must happen, Edmund. Because it's already happened.
No, I said the right words. I said I know the way. Now you say your part.
You walked by me so many times. Here, between the trees. Over, please. Empty hallways and secluded closets. I've seen you each time. Please, look at me, Edmund. Take someone else. Anyone else. I'll do anything. Anything. Just look at me.
As the creature spoke, its mouth did not move, though its expression seemed to shift somewhere between a listless smile and a vacant glare as it prowled around me with its wicked gaze. Unfortunately, my light began to wane ever so slightly. No, this isn't right. That's not what you're supposed to say.
No, it's no good. Nothing helps anymore. Getting lost is so easy in the dark. The light. A signal for someone to look your way.
What are you talking about?
I'm just trying to explain. Company would be nice. Feel like my voice is going out. I'm so lonely. Won't you stay and look?
I am looking. What more do you want from me?
I need help. Please get someone. I need more people to hear me.
You aren't making any sense. What are you?
Were you seriously expecting an answer after that nonsense?
I'm so tired of talking to nobody. I need to keep my voice strong, just in case I get found by someone.
Someone like her.
What is that supposed to mean?
And then it just left. Riddle, command, stop memory.
Memory stopped.
It just slipped back into the shadows and the feeling left. Thank you, Riddle.
Gratitude acknowledged.
Anyway,
It looked at me.
What?
It looked at me, Edmund.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. It wasn't looking at you.
I'm not being ridiculous. Didn't you feel that?
Are you going mad?
Oh, so you're telling me that you didn't feel that sudden chill just then?
It's just your imagination messing with your head. It was looking me in the eyes before it disappeared, so it was probably just an optical illusion created by the memory.
Yeah, that's probably it. But the angle, like it was looking at someone slightly taller.
Ha ha, very funny. You don't have to.
I'm sorry, folks. We appear to be having some kind of audio malfunction.
Someone there? Can you hear me?
Please stay.
That concludes today's episode of Rook and Crow, a podcast created and produced by Ashton Vickers and KrowButAWolf. Writing and editing for this episode was done by Ashton Vickers and KiwiPenFeather. Voice talents were provided by Sarah Smith, Juniper Lee, Thalia, Watkins, and Ray McGraw, with original music made by James Donovan, and audio editing done by Quinn, Polley, Charlie Griffen, and Ray McGraw. Additional voice talents are provided by KiwiPenFeather, Tristan, Fane, and Sonny and Wes Vickers. If you would like to support our studio, subscribe to the Crow and Wolf YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, and consider donating to our Patreon to help us make future episodes. Follow Crow and Wolf Studios on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok if you would like to stay up to date on the progress of future episodes and get access to exclusive bonus content. Thanks for listening.